हो गया बोल इसका फोटो ले लेते हैं स्टार्टिंग में जल्दी बोलिए ओके good morning respected participants hope all of you are staying safe and healthy we welcome you all once again to our 6 days AICT sponsors teachers training program day 4 thank you so much everyone for joining us once again. So our first session on the day 4 is about rubrics as assessment tool, and the lecture will be delivered by Professor Dharmendra Gupta sir, Director Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Innovation and Incubation Cell, JJU Hisar. So without consuming any time, I would like to welcome and introduce our first guest speaker for the day, Professor Dharmendra Kumar is working as a professor with Department of Computer Science and Engineering and Department and Director Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Innovation and Incubation Center Cell, Guru Jambeshwar University of Science and Technology. Professor Kumar has been founder Dean of Colleges, Dean, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Chairman of Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Biomedical Engineering and Printing Technology, Coordinator of TEQIP 1.2 and 1.3, a World Bank project for improving quality in technical education. He is having more than 30 years of teaching and research experience. He has visited many countries. He is an expert member of many national level committees of NBA, NIRF, NAAC, universities, and UGC. All India Council for Technical Education AICTE MOE has nominated Professor Dharmendra Kumar as a Margdarshak under the Margdarshak initiative with an aim to mentor and enable technical education institution to achieve accreditation by National Board of Accreditation, that is NBA. So without wasting any time, I request Professor Dharmendra Gupta sir to take the session forward. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Komal. Today's lecture or invited talk is based on the assessment tools, that is the indirect assessment tools. Hope till now you people have already have the awareness about the entire NBA accreditation process. So can anyone tell me that what is covered till now, so that I can assume that this much is the knowledge which you already have and I should not repeat the same. Dr. Komal, can you elaborate means what is covered till now?
Yes, sir. So far in NBA, we have covered the basics about NBA accreditation and its processes, and pre-qualifier procedures and evaluation guidelines have been done. Outcome-based education and Bloom taxonomy, its application, vision, and mission, it's done. And concept of PEO, PO, COPO mapping attainment is also done. And R&D consultancy and student projects is also covered. And in the last session, we covered overview of national education policy.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
quickly, because in my previous slides, I would quickly give you the reminders related to whatever you have covered,
Yes, sir.
because it is very much needed in order to get the have the understanding of the assessment tools.
Yes, sir.
So let us start with my presentation. So okay. So is my slide is visible?
And no, sir. Just a
No.
second. Yes, it's visible now.
It
Yes,
is
sir.
the
It's visible.
so basically I would like to give emphasis at the end on this OBE, where we have to understand the assessment and evaluation of a program of an institution of higher learning, and particularly on the indirect method. But before having understanding of the indirect methods, we have to first understand the direct method, because they are interchangeably or they are related to each other. Some weightage is given to direct methods, direct assessment methods, and some weightage is given to the indirect assessment methods. So hope you have already understood the direct methods, but suppose you are having some lack of understanding, lack in understanding. So please, during my discussions, quickly, I would like to give you even the insight of the direct assessment methods also. So yes, before we start, I would like to introduce my institution. It is Guru Jambheshwar University of Science and Technology, Hisar. It's its first state technical university, established in '95. So this university is in the name of Saint Jambheshwar Ji, who is Guru of Bisnois. Today, quickly, I would like to give you just a brief, because this indirect assessment tools is one of the philosophy which we have to understand while we are evaluating our COs, POs. But before that, we have to quick around about the entire process. So quickly, in like 15 to 20 minutes, I would like to give you the relook of the entire NB assessment and accreditation process. You might have the complete understanding of the tier 1, tier 2 institutions. Some important key points, the pre-qualifiers, as you have already informed that you people are having understanding. So if anyone is not having fully understanding of the pre-qualifiers related to engineering, management, pharmacy, MCA, and polytechnics, because whatever I have gathered from Dr. Komal yesterday, that you are a heterogeneous group. So that is why I have tried to compile the pre-qualifiers related to all programs. Criteria and their weightages, particularly UG engineering. And finally, the OBE, assessment and evaluation, direct and indirect, that is rubrics. Friends, before having understanding of this accreditation and assessment process, as you people have rightly said, that you have already covered the outcome-based education, which includes outcome-based curriculum, and which can be achieved through various modes, like the teaching learning, which again should be outcome-based, evaluation and assessment, again it should be outcome-based. Then you have to first find out or traced out or identified the assessment tools, that which course outcome of a particular course is to be assessed through which method. So as a teacher, it is your duty to identify the various assessment tools related to the attainment of your COs. Your student must know in advance that through which method I will be evaluated and assessed by my teacher. You might be already knowing that the enrollment ratio, which is required in case of your pre-qualifiers, the industrial trainings, because all courses are technical in nature, because they are already approved by AICT. Because when we say NBA accreditation, it means that all our programs are approved by AICT. Project development activities, yes, in every institution, whether teachers are involved or students are involved, project development activities should be carried out. Professional societies, every program of your institution should have membership of any professional society, which is related to the discipline. Yes, student faculty ratio, again it is required in pre-qualifier, that it should be a good one or the as per the requirement. Faculty qualifications, yes, it matters even for assessment and evaluation. Faculty cadre ratio, yes, again it is needed, because to give knowledge or supervision to the younger and buddy faculty. Faculty publications, yes, they should be, faculty should publish papers in journal or conferences, particularly in journals, in referred journals or UGC listed journals or Scopus or Web of Science listed journals. Yes, in the department, teacher must enroll in sponsored R&D, consultancy work, in IPRs, extension activities.
Sir, slide not moving.
Slide not moving. From my side, it is moving.
No.
No, sir, it's not moving.
It is not moving. But from my
In the
side,
first slide, it is available only.
Yes, sir. First slide.
So no other slides are moving.
Only first slide you are posted.
Oh, just I am just reloading it.
Yes, sir.
Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Next comes
Yeah.
दूसरी दूसरी
Seven.
स्लाइड अपीयर हुई आपको.
Slide 7. Slide 7 is visible now.
Now slide 7 is visible. I am on second. This one is visible. Yes, please.
Slide 7, 8, 9, 10 is visible. Like it's showing.
मैं दोबारा स्लाइड आप अपनी तरफ से इसको अलाउ करिए.
So it's
हम्म.
from our side, it's all.
विजिबल.
Yes,
First
sir.
slide.
Yes, sir. First slide.
ओके. मैं दूसरी दे रहा हूँ.
Yes, sir.
Second.
It's visible
Yeah,
now. Right.
it is arch coming.
ओके.
Yes, third. Fourth.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. You have pressed
Yes.
wrong icon. Third icon on bottom right hand side.
Third icon on bottom right hand side. Okay. This one.
Where 50? Yes, this one. Now
Now
slideshow will start.
Okay. Now it is visible.
Important key
Sir,
points.
हाँ.
Important key points towards
हाँ.
assessment and accreditation. It is showing.
Okay. Now it is. This slide is also visible. Sponsored R&D.
No. No.
How it
Important
could be?
key points.
Is it visible?
No. Important key points only.
This part is not visible.
Important
No,
key points
sir.
only showing. OB based program. That slide is available.
It's showing slide 6. Important key points towards assessment and accreditation.
Okay. This is available. Next is available. Continue. Sponsored R&D consultancy.
No.
No, sir.
No.
Okay. How it could be done? Because from my side it is visible.
Sir,
Okay.
there is another icon on last for full screen after
Full
plus sign.
After plus sign. Okay. Just wait. मैंने ये दबाया है इससे तो कुछ आ नहीं रहा.
Sir, please
Yeah.
press slide show button again.
Okay. Just 1 minute. So button again. Just
No,
wait.
sir.
This is स्लाइड मूव कर रही है अब नहीं.
Sir, it's not presenting. You have not shared your screen.
यार I have already shared.
No. It's not showing.
Actually, I am sharing, but somehow I do not know how it is. Stop sharing. मैं दोबारा फिर कर रहा हूँ आपको. यहाँ से ये डिसेबल है.
Sir,
कोमल
if
देखिए आप.
you
हाँ.
don't mind, you
हाँ.
have any desk and can you share your any desk number? Let me try for you.
एनी डेस्क नहीं, मेरे पास नहीं है. मैंने तो अपना लैपटॉप है, मैंने जीमेल के थ्रू इसको ओपन किया,
No,
एक्सेस किया
there
हुआ
is an app by the name AnyDesk.
है. नहीं, might be you lost your connection.
Yeah, that's a problem.
That might be, but it is showing
There might
connected.
be an internet issue.
Hmm?
Internet might be slow in that case.
Might be. Hmm. Because otherwise, from my
Your
side, it
face
is.
is available. That's all.
Dear participants, we are waiting for Sir to rejoin. So maybe within 2-3 minutes he'll be joining back. Thank you.
Hello. Sir, can I help you? Hello. Sir, can I help you?
हाँ,
Listen to me.
मैं तुषार कर रहा हूँ, मैं तुषार, तुम्हारा ये शेयर अलाउ नहीं हो रहा है मुझे. तुषार,
Yes, sir.
ये जो शेयर है ना, वो मुझे अलाउ नहीं हो रहा है, वो डिसेबल है.
आपका शेयर डिसेबल है.
हम्म.
सर होस्ट कोमल मैम।
Yes, sir.
मैम सर को आप एक बार अलाउ कीजिए ना कि वो मतलब सर को
From our side, it's open, sir.
नहीं, जो शेयर का बटन है ना वो डिसेबल आ रहा है।
हाँ सर, वो मैम करेंगे ना जो होस्ट है।
Excuse me, sir, can I help you?
हाँ, मैं यही पूछ रहा हूँ आपको कि जो मैं शेयर कर रहा हूँ
Yes, sir,
स्क्रीन।
please. Yes, sir, I tell you. Sir, you select the window firstly, then share will be activated. You select the window you want to share.
ओके,
After that, it will be activated. Share will be activated.
अब देखना है ये विजिबल हुआ है।
Yes, sir. It's
Yes.
visible.
अब सर आप एक बार F5 प्रेस कर दीजिए अपने कीबोर्ड पर,
अरे
F5।
कर रहा हूँ दोस्त, मुझे मालूम है F5, बट आगे आगे देखो ये स्क्रीन टर्न हो रही है।
हाँ सर हो रही है, बट वो पूरी स्क्रीन शो हो रही है, स्लाइड शो एक्टिवेट नहीं हो रहा आपका।
स्लाइड शो मैंने एक्टिवेट कर दिया है मेरी स्क्रीन से।
तो सर मीनवाइल एक काम किया जाता है, आप अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन मैम को शेयर कर दीजिए, मैम प्रेजेंट कर देंगे।
Yes, sir.
ओके, फिर मैं अभी 1 मिनट रुकिए, मैं ईमेल से भेज रहा हूँ आपको।
ठीक है, sir.
आप यहाँ पर सर अटैचमेंट का ऑप्शन भी आता है, अटैचमेंट भी सेंड कर सकते
एक
हैं।
मिनट, हाँ 1 मिनट रुकिए, फिर मैं देख लेता हूँ।
जी जी, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में मीटिंग डिटेल्स में अटैचमेंट का ऑप्शन आ रहा होगा सर, 5 सेकंड।
एक सेकंड। लेफ्ट हैंड साइड में
मीटिंग डिटेल्स लिखा है सर,
मीटिंग डिटेल्स कहाँ लिखा हुआ है?
अटैचमेंट का ऑप्शन है।
Lower left.
लोअर लेफ्ट में, एक सेकंड,
Meeting details, and then we have an option of attachments.
एक सेकंड, नहीं लोअर लेफ्ट में तो कहीं नहीं है।
सर जो माइक का जो साइन है उसके लेफ्ट में है मीटिंग
अच्छा,
डिटेल्स।
माइक के साइन, ये माइक का है।
उसके बिल्कुल लेफ्ट में मीटिंग डिटेल्स है आपके पास।
एक
सर
सेकंड,
मेल कर दीजिए, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है।
अभी करता हूँ यार, एक सेकंड। तो चलिए मैं मेल ही कर रहा हूँ आपको।
जी
कोमल अपना मेल मुझे दीजिए।
Oh, okay. I'm sharing in the chat box, sir.
ओके, कोमल सहरावत। कोमल देखना, चेक करना अपना.
Okay, sir. I'll just check. Yes, sir. I have received it. I'm just sharing it. Just give me 2 minutes. We are just sharing, sir.
Okay.
Yeah. Hope it's visible, sir.
Okay. Yes, it is visible for me.
Yes.
तो इसको नेक्स्ट करिए. Go to the first, the important key points. Okay, next. I think that was covered. Like that, these are the important key points towards assessment and accreditation. That every institution for a program must have the outcome-based course curriculum, which can be achieved through online or offline blended learning mode. Every teacher must identify the assessment tools or methods before the start of the session to each student, because your student must know that how to attain your, or how you people be assessed through which assessment tool in order to attain the COs, etc. Enrollment ratio, faculty cadre ratio, student faculty ratio, faculty qualifications, all these are basically the prerequisites before going for accreditation process. So these matters like the student faculty ratio, faculty qualifications, faculty cadre ratio, and enrollment ratio. Every curriculum must industrial trainings, project development activities. Your program must be a member of any professional society related to your program. Faculty publications, it plays a great role. So you have to decide your benchmarking. So next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Sponsored R&D. Your teacher must involve in sponsored R&D, consultancy work, and your student and faculty members must involve in IPRs. Extension activities are very much part of the assessment and accreditation process. Every institution must have the HR policies, and they should be implemented in toto in the light of the regulatory bodies, whether it is AICT or the state government or your board of governors. Student welfare policies must exist, that every student be given benefit as per the policies available. It should not be pick and choose policy. Research collaborations, yes, in order to promote research quality at the institution level or the department level, you must have the academic and industrial collaboration at the institution and the department level. Yes, it is one of the important point that every COPO or PSO at course level and at program level must have their mappings. If you do not have the mapping, then you do not need a particular course or the CO. Every institution must follow academic calendar in the light of your affiliating institution or university. Every institution must have a good administrative setup, because in order to implement this OBE at the institution level or at the program level or at the department level, a good administrative setup you need. Next, please. Yes. So you have a greater role of academic calendar and academic year in accreditation and assessment process. Every participant must understand that in case of NBA accreditation, our academic year starts from July to June. So normally in some cases, in some states, it might differ, but NBA consider academic year as from July to June. Now again, the thing is to remember that if the SAR is submitted before 30th September, then the CAY, current academic year, shall be the previous academic year. For example, we are now in 21. This is a session 2021. If we are going to submit our SAR on or before 30th September, then our CAY will be 2021. If we are going to submit our SAR after 30th September, then current academic year will be 21-22. Next, please. So it is very important to understand in accreditation and assessment process. CAY, current academic year, CAY M1, M2, M3. That is the assessment years. Next, please. The student faculty ratio considered by NBA for UG programs, it is 21:1 for accreditation of 3 years and 20:1 for the accreditation of 6 years. Next, please. So normally in case of pre-qualifiers, you have to understand what is the meaning of CAY, CAY M1, M2, M3. Okay. So I'm assuming that SAR is to be submitted on or before 30th September. So my CAY is 2021 and CAY M1, M2, M3, 1920, 1819, 1718. It means CAY is 2021 means that you be assessed on the basis of M1, M2, M3. Means 1920, 1819, 1718. Go ahead. So I think because you are already having understanding of the pre-qualifiers. This is for tier 1. So next slide, please. So if any of the participant is having any question, so please ask me. Next slide. Next slide, please. So like related to any of the pre-qualifier, if any participant is having any clarification, so please ask me. Next, please. I think you have the understanding of tier 1 and tier 2. Tier 1 institutions are those which are autonomous, like universities, autonomous colleges. And tier 2, those who are affiliated, having affiliation with some university.
What about the polytechnics, sir?
Polytechnics are not covered in like this one, T1 and T2. They are directly associated with the Directorate of Technical Education of a particular state. So they have their independent, every state is having their independent board, technical education, like Directorate of Technical Education. So they are independent, like they are not in tier 1 and tier 2. So all are having the same.
Okay, thank you.
Next, please. So only thing to note is that earlier in pre-qualifieds, we are considering enrollment ratio at the institution as well as at the program level. But now institution level admissions are not considered during your pre-qualifier. Only the admissions at program level matters. And one thing also to note is that earlier, while we are calculating enrollment ratio or the admission rate, we were considering CAY M1, M2. But now we are considering CAY M1, M2, M3. So these are the changes which NBA made. So please try to understand this. Next, please. Okay, next. So go quickly. So if anyone have like any query, so I'm supposed to ask. I'm supposed to answer. Next, please. SFR. Yes, every participant must understand this is one of the key factor. Means how to calculate student faculty ratio. Normally, in case of engineering, it is the number of students enrolled in second year, third year, fourth year, but not less than the intake. Like suppose in a program of BTech, your intake is 60. So in second year, if admissions are 55, you have to consider 60. So 60, 60, 60. But if suppose you are having more than 60 admissions, so means over and above, when we say the supernumerary seats, वो होती है in actual. So 60 plus in actual, 60 plus in actual, 60 plus in actual. So 3 years. And if you are having a PG program, then first year admissions and second year admission, again, not less than sanctioned. So a class of 60 of UG and a class of, let us say 18 of PG. So minimum is 60 plus 60 plus 60 plus 18 plus 18. So combined together, this is the number of students in the department and divided by the number of faculty available in the department excluding first year faculty. So this is the how we are calculating SFR. And you must know that in case of engineering, it should not exceed 1:25 in any case. If it is exceeding, you will not be accredited at all. Go ahead. Go ahead. Okay. Now, in case of PG engineering, the minimum basically prerequisite is that your UG, if you are offering, must have accreditation. Otherwise, you will not go for PG engineering for accreditation. Next, please. But this is one of the. So in case of this PG, basically we need go back. Now the first condition is that whether corresponding UG program is accredited by NBA or not. If not, you cannot go for PG accreditation. This is the first and foremost. Okay. Go ahead. Go. PG MBA, those who are participants from MBA, it is listed here. So I have means tried to compile the complete pre-qualifier list for all the programs, like whether it is MBA or pharmacy or polytechnic, like this. Go ahead, just quickly, because we have to cover our OBE. Okay, go ahead. These are the qualifiers for pharmacy. Okay, go ahead. Go. Diploma in engineering. Go. Okay. These are the program specific criteria for UG engineering, tier 1, tier 2. First, total 10 criteria we have in NBA accreditation. First 7 related to program. Total comes 780, but there is little variation in tier 1 and tier 2. You just see that the first criteria in tier 1 having 50 marks weightage, in tier 2 60 marks weightage. program curriculum, tier 1 में 100 and tier 2 120 because you are affiliating college in tier 2. But in case of course outcomes and program outcomes, now you see 175, whereas in tier 2 it is 120 because you are now autonomous and you do not have any excuse in attaining the COs and POs. Student performance, in case of tier 2 it is 150. So just you see the variations. So some weightage is given in tier 1 and some weightage is given to tier 2. So total comes to 780 related to program. Next slide, please. And this is common. These are related to institutional. So total in UG engineering, we have 10 criteria. First 7 related to program and next 3 related to institution. Next, please. Okay, so these are the commencement period. That when your program, when your student be considered under accredited program. If visit conducted between July to December, then the current academic year will be the accreditation period. And if visit conducted in between January to June, then the next academic year will be the accreditation period. Means start of the accreditation period. Next, please. Now this is the summary. Normally we say like tier 1 and tier 2. Our MBA comes under tier 1 only. 10 total criteria we have. In MCA we have 9 criteria. Here no pre-qualifier is needed. UG pharmacy 9 criteria. No tier 1, tier 2. PG engineering no tier 1, tier 2. 6 criteria. UG engineering total 10, 7 plus 3. 7 related to program and 3 related to institution. Diploma engineering 9 criteria, 7 related to program and 2 related to institution. So this is the summary of all the programs related to your NBA. Next, please. Okay. Now let us start with this outcome-based education. You might be knowing that what is the prime motto of this outcome-based education. Next slide, please. Okay. So when we say what does it mean? That outcome-based education is student-centered or student-centric, where focus is on measuring student performance, that is outcome, mean that is the ability. So normally outcomes include knowledge, skill, and attitude. And in order to have this outcome-based education, we must have the outcome-based curriculum, which should be supported by outcome-based teaching learning and outcome-based assessment methods. Next, please. So can anyone tell that what is the difference between this today's philosophy like OBE or the earlier philosophy? No? Okay. Okay. Now, whenever we are saying that we are having OBE, then the first and foremost thing is that the stakeholders, because this OBE needs involvement of all stakeholders. Normally, our stakeholders will be or are students, faculty, parents, alumni, employers, management, government, and regulatory bodies. So at different point of scale, like 1 or 2 or more stakeholders be involved while taking decisions. As earlier said in the important key points, that we must have the administrative setup, very strong administrative setup. Like at institutional level, you should have your either board of governors or board of management, institutional assessment committees, IQAC, those who are already NAC accredited must have. And in case of universities, the executive councils. At department level, you should have the department advisory committee, academic audit committee, program committee, course committee, like course coordinators, program coordinators, and module coordinators. In order to implement this philosophy of OBE at different level, you must have the different coordinators, like the teacher in charges. Like normally, the lowest one is the module coordinator, then the course coordinator, then the entire program coordinator, and then the academic audit. That you must know. Every institution or every department must go for academic and administrative audit. Next, please. Now, this is one of the important points and of the talk of the today's concern. Next, please. Okay. In NBA accreditation process or in this OBE philosophy, normally we follow two methods: direct assessment tools and indirect assessment tools. In case of this direct, just go back. The weightage is 80%. In case of direct, the weightage is 80%, and in case of like direct, it is 20%. So combined together, it becomes 100%. But out of this direct means 80%, again it is divided into two, 80-20. 80 for university examinations and 20 for internal examinations. So are you getting this? With a total 80-20, direct ka weightage 80%, indirect weightage 20%. And out of this 80% of direct, we have divided into 80-20. 80% for university examinations, term end examinations, and 20% for internal examinations, which includes your class test, your midterm test, your assignments, quizzes, seminars, etc. So it should be effectively implemented as per the guidelines or ordinances of the university if tier 2, or if tier 1 as per the ordinance of the institution, autonomous institution. Assessment methodology should be very transparent, and these formats regarding this indirect must be made available to all your stakeholders so that you can take proper decision making. Next, please. These are the different attainment levels suggested by NBA, like 40, 50, 60. If I say 40 means at low or minimum, 50% moderate, and 60% the high. So for example, attainment levels, level 3 means 60%. If score is greater than 2.5 to 3, normally 3, 2, 1. These three scores are to be used while we are going for NBA accreditation. 3 means high, 2 means moderate, 1 means low. Next, please. Next, please. Every institution, this is a terminology only, that every institution must have the vision and mission statements at the institution and at the department level. And every program should have the PEOs, program educational objectives. These are minimum 3 to 5. Next, please. So POs relate to career and professional accomplishments of the student after they graduate from the program. And normally in quantity, they should be 3 to 5, minimum 3, maximum 5. Next, please. Like these PEOs should have mapping with the mission of the department. This is needed because if some PEO you have articulated, but not having any mapping with any of the mission statement, then this PEO does not have any relevance. So this mapping is needed. So at least in every row, there should be minimum 1 mapping. This is the fundamental or thumb rule. So, and if you do not find any mapping between PEO and mission statement, so that PEO should be removed and needs some revision or needs some revision. So this mapping is having the greater relevance. Next, please. These program outcomes, actually these are the abilities which your student or your graduate will possess at the end of 4-year program or 3-year program or 2-year program. And these 12 program outcomes have been fixed by now NBA. You need not to revise or retouch these 12. Next, please. So this is, next, please. This is the list that these are the 12 PEOs which have been given by NBA. Please do not redesign or revise them. You have to consider as it is from 1 to 12. Next, please. Yes, these are the PSOs. Now 12 POs have been given by the NBA, means these are the standard 12 abilities which it must possess at the end of 4-year program. But then how your program or your department is offering a distinct or unique, let us say, UG program in engineering. So based on your faculty, based on the infrastructure, based on the different tools, based on the teacher specialization, you can articulate 2 to 4 PSOs, which strengthen your UG program. For example, if your teachers are very good in data science, you can articulate 2 PSOs in data science. Or if your teachers are very strong, let us say in IoT, they can articulate 1 PO on IoT, 1 PSO on IoT based on IoT, and 1 PSO on based on data science. So that should be unique one. It should not be like you are just copying from one institution to another. So which identify your UG program as the unique program, you have to write down. Next, please. Okay, process employed for defining of CO. Already, I think one of the speakers have already covered this. So please go ahead. Go ahead. Next. Okay. Yes, it is very important that every CO of a program must have mapping with the POs and PSOs. So you have to articulate, you have to carry out mapping between COPO and PSO at program level as well as at the course level. So initially the course level and finally at the program level. Yes, please. So at the end, you might have the 30-40 programs, 30-40 courses in your complete 4-year program. So at least as a sample, 1 per semester, you have to give the mapping between CO and PO at the course level and finally at the program level. Yes, now our role starts with how we are attaining our CO and POs. As you know, already covered this, that we are having 80% weightage for direct methods and 20% weightage for indirect methods. So in direct methods, normally we have the internal assessment that is again based on sometimes 2 or 3 tests, some assignments, some quizzes, some seminar marks, some attendance marks. So that is the internal, and having sometimes 20% weightage or 30% weightage depends upon. In some cases, in some universities, in case of theory, it is 20-80 or 30-70. In case of practical, it is 50-50. But normally it is 20-80. And in case of indirect methods, it is 20%. And that is based on the various surveys: course exit survey, graduate exit survey, alumni, employer. Next, please. Okay. So I am just, again, you might understand that whenever you are going for assessment, whether it is direct or indirect, you have to just tell that what is the complete details related to a course, like department of CSC, let us say GVM, IET, which academic year, which semester, okay, class, 2nd year, 3rd year, 4th year, course, teacher, coordinator name, course code, total number of students in the class. Please. Next, please. Move career. Now, for this particular course, how many? Just go back. Go back. Go back. One more. Okay. Now next. Next, please. Okay. So basically, these are the 6 COs related to this course. Yes, apply appropriate construct of C language, coding standards for design and development. Just try to understand. These are the 6 COs. Go back. Go next. Okay. Now, what are the various assessment tools for internal as well as external? So you have to tell. ये change हो सकता है. To just justify this, that the CO1 will be assessed through online test 1 in case of internal and term work. In case of university examination, this is online phase 1 and semester exam. or some practical or like this way. So ultimately at end, you have to, in the beginning, you have to tell your student that your CO1 will be evaluated through which method, for internal and through which other method through university, for a university exam. So ultimately all COs should be listed along with their assessment methods. And you have to tell your student that the target for CO attainment is, let us say, 55% of maximum marks scored by student in all internal, external examination, assignment and teamwork, term work. So that you will be evaluated based on the average marks is 55%. Go next. Now you see this table completely. CO attainment data sheet. Say fundamental of data structure. Course coordinator X. Strength of class 74. External assessment methods, internal assessment method. Methods we have already explained. Like in case of external assessment, CO 1 and 2, phase 1, CO 3 and 4, phase 2, means online examinations, and 1 to 6, university term end examination, which may be conducted in December, in the month of December, or in the month of May or June. And this is the marks, maximum marks, like for phase 1 25, in case of external, phase 2 25, and term end 50, and oral or practical or something 50. So combined together 150. Similarly for internal, CO1 and CO2, online test 1, online test 2, similarly 3 and 4, online test 3 and 4, and for 5 and 6, unit test 1, unit test 2, and term end 1 to 6, 25. So combined together. Now you see, you have to just go to next. Okay. Now the external assessment. Regarding roll number 1, like the first student, university exam, out of 25, 25, 50, 50, 125, student has scored. Similarly, 2, 13, 15, 20, 38.40. Just you see the table. Since here I am writing no, N, means student score is less than 55. Student score is less than 55. But out of 74, I am assuming 17 students got 55% and above. In case of CO1, in case of CO2, 17, and so on. Next, please. Next, please. Next. Internal assessment. Similarly, for internal assessment, 55 when it was the target, total out of 74, 73 students have got it. So now you see this. Now the question or the concern point is that in case of external only 17, and in case of internal 73, it means there is a huge gap between internal external evaluation. So as course coordinator, you have to give thought that why my student in internal exam scoring more marks than in external examination. Next, please. So this is the target which we have been set, so that in case of external 55%, in case of internal 55%, but in case of all 6 COs. Next, please. Now you see CO attainment data sheet. Internal 40%, 50%, 60%. Level 1 40%, level 2 50%, level 3 60%. Internal attainment of CO 1 to 6. Total number of students 74. Out of 74, 73, 73, 72, 73, 72, 72. They are the students who scored more than 55%. So percentage of attainment 98.65. 98.65 means more than 60%. तो सभी का 3 हो गया. In case of internal, all intervals are 3. Next, please. Okay, this is external. In case of external, only percentage of attainment is 23.29, 23.29, 21.92, means less than 40%. So all are zero. Next, please. Now combine together. In case of internal attainment, 333. In case of external attainment, 000. So what is the percentage of internal attainment? 20%, means 0.6 plus 0 into 0.8, 0. So 0.6. So overall is 0.6 only. Next, please. PO attainment level data sheet. Can anyone tell me from where I picked this? Any of the participants? Any of the participants, because you have already read it or understood it through previous lectures. From where I picked this slide?
Like for mapping COs and POs.
Komal, like there were two kind of mapping already done. One is COPO mapping at course level, and one is COPO mapping at the program level. Course COPO mapping at the course level.
Yes, sir.
So like course on data structure, earlier this was the table which was which was done at the beginning. So here now you see what is the average 3.0 for P1. For PO1, what was the average attainment level? 3.00. And what is calculated? 6. It means not attained. If I correlate it, like this is the beginning, but this was expected from the student to get it at the end. So this is the initial. Now go to the next. From this table,
sir, what about P7, P8, P10, P11?
You see, just go to back. Just go to back. This is our initial mapping with related to PO1, PO2, PO12, and PSO1 and 2. Actually, this was the average expected levels, like through course on data structure. Like the course data structure will contribute 3 towards P1, means PO1, 2.61 on an average PO2, and so on. This was in the initial. Now you see, you consider the next table. Now go to the next. Okay. Now you see, first one, the mapping was what? Just थोड़ा सा इसको स्वैप करना पड़ेगा जो मेरे प्रेजेंटर मेरे साथ जो हेल्प कर रहे हैं. Go to the back slide. Now you see here 214 times 4.1, like course जो first CO है, value देखिए 3232 in first case. Now go to the next. Go to the next. This is, go back. This is our value, means attained value 0.6, multiply by 3, divided by 3. Our expected was 3 and total is 3. So 0.6 multiply by 3 divided by 3, 0.6. 0.6 multiply by 2 divided by 3. 0.6 multiply by 2 divided by 3, 0.40, and so on. So this is our calculated value based on our initial mapping. Now you understand this table. This is our PO attainment data sheet. And now see the average. Average is 0.60, 0.53, 0.60 as compared to 3 or 2. It means our POs have not been attained through course on data structure. So now the question is where we are lacking. Where we are lacking. So we have to identify the gaps and then the possible action to be taken.
Sir, he is asking P7, he's asking P7, P8, P10, and P11.
Basically, where are these gaps? Means this course is not contributing towards PO7 and PO8 attainment or 10 or 11. It is not necessary that every CO will contribute towards every PO and PSO. Try to understand first that need not necessary every CO will contribute towards every PO. So these are the gaps. It minimum required is maximum all, means 12 plus 2, 14. Are you having understanding?
Yeah. You pointed out about. Hello. You pointed out phase 1, phase 2, and end semester for external.
You try to understand this. That is a sample. You have to tell or you have to identify only the assessment methods for attaining, let us say, CO1, CO2, CO3 up to CO6. That should be based on your university, if you are an affiliated college, based on your university ordinance. And sometimes you may introduce some new method, particularly for internal marks only, because that is in your hand only. External marks are not in your hand in case of affiliated college. But if you are a autonomous college or university, in your ordinance, go for corresponding changes or updations and then follow. So as course coordinator, you have certain limits to follow as per the ordinances. Is it okay?
Okay.
So philosophy is that whenever we are going for even mapping or correlation between COs and POs, philosophy is that every row must have at least one mapping. It could be full, it could be partial, but at least one. It need not necessary that if you are having 12 POs and 2 PSOs, it means 14 mapping you need. No. If it is not contributing, no. So we have to give only contribution towards the mapping. So we are obtaining this value based on the mapping done at the CO, PO at course. If my target is, let us say, for a CO, one PO, let a PO1 for this course, let us say 3. And if I am getting 0.60, it means not attained. So now the thing is that we have to identify the various causes where we are lacking, that why we are not close to attainment values. Okay. So go next. But the thing is, go next. Okay. So till now, I can say that this is the example of direct, because we are already having the assessment methods as per the ordinances, which is having only 80% weightage. But in case of indirect assessment method, normally we go for survey, course exit survey, graduate exit survey, alumni survey, and employer survey. Do you know that where alumni and employer surveys are used? Anyone? So where we have to use course exit survey, graduate exit survey, alumni survey, or employer survey.
You are not achieved.
No. Question is. My concern is. My concern is that we have so many surveys for indirect assessment, which we call even rubrics. Normally, when we say rubrics, basically is a method of assessment where we do not have the direct method. Okay. So can anyone help me, or can anyone tell me that where I should use course exit survey or graduate exit survey or alumni survey or employer survey?
Suppose
any of the participant?
You have not achieved anything in the direct method, you have to use indirect. You have to add something.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Any other of the participant? What professor is telling, that if you are not able to achieve or attain your POs or COs through direct method, then you go for indirect method. So his answer is partially correct, but every survey is needed, but having little less weightage. As in the earlier slide, we have informed that 80% weightage is given to the direct methods and 20% weightage is given to the indirect method. So it means indirect methods are essentially needed. It is not that if we are not able to attain, then go for the indirect method. Like in a semester, you have 5 courses, then you have to conduct course exit survey for every course, which is having 20% weightage. So now combined together, that will be this previous slide is helping towards only 80%. It means at the end of each semester for a particular course on data structure, I have to obtain a course exit survey from my student. For example, whether the methodology adopted was up to date or not, whether the teaching learning methods were up to date or not, whether the attainment or the goals were achieved or not. So you have to prepare certain questions and float it to the students and then compile it. And that weightage, then this like the field survey will have the weightage of 20%. Now you combine together, then you see whether your means goal or your POs have been attained or not towards this course. So course exit survey to help in attaining course outcomes, graduate exit survey which helps in attaining your POs. So course exit survey once in a semester and graduate once in a program, 4-year program. What is going on? Okay. So are you having understanding of this? That every course in a semester, every course should have a course exit survey at the end and graduate exit survey at the end of the 4-year program. Course exit survey will help to attain your COs and graduate exit survey will help. Where we have to use alumni and employer survey? Can anyone tell? Can anyone tell?
For
Whether they are
PEO.
helping to attain?
For PEO.
Yes, exactly. Yes, this is the answer. The alumni PEOs, alumni survey and employer survey are helpful to attain PEOs. But you know that PEOs should be attained after 5 or 6 years of the program. Means like 4-year program plus 1 or 2 years more. So now NBA in SAR is not focusing on attainment of PEOs. They are focusing on attainment of POs, means during the course program duration. Okay. There is another question that how we are evaluating our projects or ability of doing things or ability to express or ability to solve problems or ability to work in a team. So normally where we do not have the direct method to assess our student, we have to design our own questionnaire or the components or the parameters can assess my student, particularly in case of project evaluation, like the report and the viva or the presentation itself doesn't help, because in a group you might have 4 or 5 or 6 students. So we have to devise our own mechanism or some questions based on which your teacher will evaluate or will say or will analyze that number of students, like in a class having ability to work in a team, number of students in a class having ability to work, number of students in a class having expression to express or to solve problems in a time bound manner or like this way. Here we need rubrics, we need indirect method, we need a questionnaire to assess and evaluate my student. So this is the actual role, having 20% weightage in the complete assessment of NBA. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is my PO attainment data sheet based on this one. So this is having the direct, this is 80% weightage. Go next. Go next. Okay, go next. Now you see the data sheet. Now just hypothetical, I am repeating the things. That direct method we have already collected through methods, and I am assuming in indirect the same value. It need not be the same. 100% it will be different through indirect. But the thing is that direct 80%, indirect 20%, combined together 100%. So that will be the table you have to calculate based on your methods, direct as well as indirect. In case of indirect, at course level, the course exit survey. At PO level, it is graduate exit survey. So you have to devise your own questions where you have to tell your student whether you are partially agreed, or you are moderately agreed, or you are 100% agreed. So in case of, like, you can devise like the 3-point scale criteria based on certain questions and ask your student to fill it, and then calculate and summarize here and tell, combine together like the direct and indirect, and then you prepare this last table. So last value 100% will help you whether you are attaining your COs or POs or not. Next, please. So this one, previous slide says at the program course level. Just go previous. This slide is at the course level or the CO level. Okay, attainment or PO, and next at the program level. Like the direct and indirect means for every course, like you have 40 course, then you should have the 40 rows, then find the average, and similarly exit survey, you find the indirect value, combine together based on 80%, 20%, and that will tell you that whether your POs have been attained or not.
Sir,
this is one.
So these are the maximum mark or maximum attainment level or minimum attainment level, sir?
Attainment level based on your CO PO mapping. Please audio switch off kariye.
Yeah.
Based on your mapping at CO PO at course level as well as CO PO at program level. Now that is the expected levels. Now suppose your students are not of quality, you reduce your target level. Like let us say your mapping says 3, but you say that your quality of graduates are not so good, or the success index is not so good. Initially for first year, you can reduce this. Let us say 60% and more, say 3, 50% and more, say 2, 40% and more, say 1. Because like beyond above 60 till 100, there is a huge gap. So now if you are able to attain the 60% benchmark, then next year you can go up to 70, then 80, then 90. But basically your target should be such that should satisfy the basic procedures which you are following in the past. So based on 3 years data, you set your targets and try to achieve that. If you are partially achieving, no problem. You can introduce or revise your processes to improve. So that is the philosophy basically. It is not that fundamental, everybody needs 3. But does have the variety of students. So your target 100% target is 3. You can set your target 2.5 or 2.25, like something. And slowly, gradually you can increase it. So nobody question it. But you can't say just to attain the POs, every time you are reducing your targets. This should not be. So there should be some justification behind setting targets. Like your success index. say 50%. So how you can set the target 70%? You can set the target 55%. Like based on the 3 years data, if your success index say 50%, you can set the target 55%, so that after introducing new things or some good methods or mechanisms, you can or your student be able to achieve. But if your targets are like, if you are on the basis of 3 years data, your targets, your means average values are 50%, and you say my target should be 90%, it is impossible to achieve. So that should have logic. Like whenever we are going to set target, you should have some background data. So this is my answer. Okay. Yes, any other question? Hello.
Dear participants, in case you have any question, please unmute yourself.
This is sample survey, course exit survey. You have 6 CEOs. Normally in NBA, we have to set, we are using 3 levels, 3, 2, 1. 3 means high, 2 means moderate, and means low. So corresponding to each, based on your survey, this table look like this. And this table is having 20% weightage. Similarly, you can devise your own sample for graduate exit survey. And that will help at end when you are attaining your POs based on all 30 to 40 courses. So for direct, 80%. For indirect means this rubrics method, 20% weightage, and combined together 100%. And out of this direct, which we have the total 80% weightage. So out of 80% for university examinations and 20% for internal examination. So this is the standard. But if your ordinance says 30-70, you go for 70-30. If your ordinance say in case of practical 50, go for 50-50. Like this way. Another example for this rubrics is course file or the project report plus Viva will help to evaluate your student. No, you have to devise your own rubric. Own rubric means own method, like based on whether student has done review or not, whether student have used new technology or not, whether the methodology used was appropriate or not, whether the results are as expected or not, whether having scope and relevance or not. So ultimately,
so one more doubt, sir.
Yeah.
One more doubt, sir. In the PU attainment data sheet, why we are not considering the program outcome 3, 4, 6, 9?
Just go back.
Previous slide.
Please go back.
Yeah, this one, sir.
Go back. Go back.
Hey, this one, sir.
Go back. Back slide, please. Means just one more back. Just wait. Go back. Yeah. Go back. Back. Yes. Now next. Yes. Now you see, this is basically your correlation matrix, which you have completed in the beginning, like in year 2, that the CO-PO matrix or mapping at the course level and CO-PO matrix mapping at the program level. Now, initially, what we realized that we do not, like our CO1 not contributing towards P7 means PO7, PO8, PO10, PO11. Might be only understanding. So that is why it is blank. So it depends on your mapping. This is mapping done by you as the course coordinator. If you feel that my CO1 is contributing towards all 14 PO and PSOs, then it's all right. So this is up to you. You have to decide this mapping in the beginning. This is not like me as the presenter. So as course coordinator, I am as presenter is picking that this is the course matrix or mapping which has been done in the beginning towards showing the contribution towards attainment of PO 1 to 12 and plus 2 PSO. जैसा मैंने कहा आपको कि थंब रूल क्या है, every row should have at least one mapping and may have maximum 14. Are you getting this understanding? It is not that I am showing. I am assuming that these are the COs contributing towards attainment of POs and PSOs.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Yes, please. Well, you try to understand this, that it need not necessary that every CO should have mapping with or PSO. It could be minimum 1 and maximum 14. But every row should have at least one. If not, remove that CO or revise it so that it can contribute. That is why in case of course curriculum development or designing of course curriculum based on outcome based education, philosophy is that if you are launching any course, you first articulate COs, then go for content development. But right now, in case of affiliate colleges, what we are doing is that since we are having a course curriculum already given by university, then we are forced to articulate COs, most of the COs based on the course curriculum development or course content available. But yes, you have to devise your own course outcome, which is required, but not contributing, not getting contribution from course content, but having contribution through your methods, through your activities, so that no deficiency, no gaps exist or will exist. So go to the last. Go to the last slide. Go last. So ultimately, what is our example says that we should have CO, PO, PSO mapping at course level, then the targets, then the attained values, and that if using direct methods having weightage 80%, combined together 100%. That is applicable only up to one course. Now you replicate it for the program level. So if you have 30 or 40 courses, then you should have these 30 or 40 rows combined together, find the average, then it becomes 80%, and finally go for graduate exit survey, which contribute 20% combined together to calculate the average value of these 80-20, like the combined together graduate exit survey and direct method. Then you correlate it with your target values and then compare whether PO have been attained or not. If value is greater than or equal to the target of your calculated value, then PO is attained, otherwise not attained. Then identify the gaps and then suggest possible solutions or the activities to be conducted for the next. So this is my view towards direct and indirect. So sorry for inconvenience caused in the beginning. That might be due to internet or something. So any question from any of the audience, even related to the past lectures delivered by your different authors? Dr. Komal.
Yes, sir.
Any query raised by your participant, even the lectures delivered till now?
Okay. We'll share it with you, sir.
Sir, kindly post your email ID, sir, in chat box. Post your email ID.
I will post my email. Yeah. Oh. Any question, please?
Participants, in case you have any questions, Please unmute yourself, or you can write into the chat box. I guess everything is clear to the participants.
Okay, no problem. So should I ask?
Yes, sir. You can. Please go ahead.
Okay, no problem. So thank you very much for bearing the inconvenience caused in the beginning. I was also not having understanding that why this was happening. My slides were moving and you were not able to see all these slides. So sorry for once again.
That's
Sorry
perfectly
for
all right, sir.
inconvenience
It
caused.
happens.
So thank you.
Yes. That's okay, sir.
So thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir, taking your time to prepare for us. And your presence was very informative. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. And dear participants, next session will begin at 12. And next session will be delivered by Professor Sudhakar Reddy, sir, MGIT Hyderabad. And the topic will be identification of curriculum gap and content, basis, syllabus, and teaching learning processes. Thank you so much.
Excuse me, ma'am. Komal
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Ma'am, please tell me when we can get the link of the videos that you uploaded on YouTube, because we want to go through the matters.
I'll just share the link into the chat box, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. At the end of today's session, we'll be sharing all the links with you, ma'am. Because the technical team is currently working on those slides and the links, so they'll be sharing it by today evening. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am. Thank you.